I've got something a little bit different for you today, and that's pickled onions. We've grown these ourselves in garden. They're Paris silver skin pickling onions. So nice little baby onions that we can preserve by pickling. There is a little bit of preparation involved, but not a lot. And this is the simplest recipe that I know of. There's lots of different ones out there, and you can add different spices if you like. But today, I'm just keeping it simple. But first, we need to prep these onions, and this can be the tricky part because you've got to peel them. And they're very small. But there is a quick way of doing this, and it's called blanching. So we basically pop these into boiling water, only for about 30 seconds though, and then plunge them into cold water. And that'll probably save you about an hour of prep and peeling these tiny little things because they're very fiddly. So first thing we've done is we've took a jar and we've popped it into a pan of boiling water to sterilise it. Next, we'll prep these onions. And what we need to do with these onions is just top and tail them. Just take that end away and then take away that root as well. So you're left with that. So I'll get back to you when I finish prepping these onions. So that's all those done. And if when you're finished you end up with a nice bunch of onion greens, don't throw those away. You can chop these up and just add them to salads, or even mix them in with mashed potatoes. So now we'll move on to the next stage. I've just brought that pan of water to a boil, and now we're going to add those onions in. And it should come back to boil fairly quick. An ideal timing for these onions in that water is about 30 seconds. If you leave them too long, you're going to end up with soggy onions, and you don't want that. So now we need to drain these onions, and then we'll drop them straight into cold water and add a bit of ice to that to cool these onions down quicker. Once these onions have cooled down, you should be able to peel them quite easily just by squeezing them, and they should just pop out of that skin like that. If you've left any root on, trim that off as well. So we'll try another one. As you saw, that popped straight out. And that is the easiest way to peel these baby onions. So I'll get the rest of these peeled and then we'll move on to the next stage. So quick and easy, and that's all as onions prepped. And now we've got this jar, and we've had that in a pan of boiling water to sterilise it. They're just old sauce jars that we save. And when you make these pickled onions, you can use any type of vinegar you want, but I like to use white vinegar with these. So what I'm going to do is add a bit of this white vinegar. Then I'm going to add a tablespoon of sugar. And just mix that around until it's dissolved. If it don't dissolve altogether, just stand it back in that pan of boiling water you took it out of, and that'll let that sugar dissolve quicker, which is exactly what I did. And this is the part where it comes down to preference. People add spices to these jars. You can put peppercorns in there as well, but I'm just trying to keep this as simple as possible. So basically what I'm going to do now is we'll pop all those onions in this jar. Then I'm just going to top it up with more white vinegar. And then we'll just take his lid, which we've also sterilised, and put that on there nice and tight. And then we'll just give it a little bit of a shake. And that's your homemade pickled onions done. And we've got a nice little jar of what I call sweet pickled onions. You don't have to add that sugar in if you don't want to. If you'd rather them be a little bit more tart, leave the sugar out. But you can also add things like chilli flakes into that to give it a bit of a bite as well. And these will be ready to eat in about 3 to 4 weeks, and they'll store for a long time. And the one thing that puts people off from making pickled onions with these baby onions is getting those skins off, because it can be quite fiddly. So if you try and do it by hand, you're going to be there for an hour at least. But just by blanching them for 30 seconds, you see how easy they just pop out of those skins. It's going to save you a lot of time. Anyway, thank you very much for being part of this channel. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to see the next recipe we're going to be doing, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I look forward to seeing you then. Take care.